Hello and welcome to the May 2018 Jubilate Chorale concert. The theme of this concert for the spring is Our World in Song, A Musical Journey. I'm talking with Maxine Asselin, the director of the Jubilate Chorale, and we're going to talk a little bit about all the different pieces that make up this concert. It's a kind of a video program notes for the people who didn't attend the concert, so you'll get the benefit of having all that extra information. Now, this is songs from all around the world, Our World in Song. We're starting in Ireland with an old traditional song called Minstrel Boy. And Max, I remember this tune from when I was a kid in church as being the tune of at least one hymn.
Oh, it is so popular, and especially in Ireland. It was put together by a gentleman who was mourning and grieving his friends who died in the Irish Rebellion in the late 1700s. In the United States, it's usually performed particularly by organizations who have a large Irish American population within them. And I think one of the most impressive performances must have been at the opening of the new World Trade Center on September 11th, 2011. So that's impressive.
Yeah, it's an appropriate thing,
yes.
Too, because
yes.
of what actually
yes.
happened
yes.
10 years earlier.
Right.
Yeah. And now, Minstrel Boy. The next song is called A Vision of Olaf Astason and Olaf's Belt. And this is a kind of a unique little piece from Norway?
Yes, very Norwegian. The vision of Olaf Asterson was first discovered or whatever in the 13th century, and it is a dream vision. In other words, the person falls asleep and usually is asleep for long duration, and Olaf was asleep for 13 days. And in his dreams, he dreams both of heaven and hell. Okay, that's his dream vision. Olaf's belt then is followed and is sung by the chorale, and this is an entirely different legend. It seems as if an old peasant woman and her son were walking along the road going home, and he, the young boy, let's call him Olaf, spotted a blue belt on the road. And his mother got very anxious and upset, and she said, "Don't touch that, don't pick that up." Well, they walked along a little further, and he was just intrigued by that belt. So he said, "I've got to go back just for a minute." And he went back, and he picked it up, and he put it on. And this belt had magical powers. It made him, 10 times as strong as he was, and it gave him some magical properties. When I was reading the legend, it went on and on about this belt, and there were trolls that came in that he killed, and there were good trolls, and there was a dog, and his mother fell in love with one of the trolls. It went on, and I just stopped. But that's the legend, or the two legends that we're singing about.
Sounds like the stuff video games are made out of.
Oh, I think so. I think so. And our soloist, John Marafa, will be singing off away from the choir, and then he will rejoin it. He's singing about the vision. Olaf Asterson going to sleep for 13 days and then rushing up to the church to deliver his news.
And now, a vision of Olaf Asterson.
Hark now and hear of wondrous things, of visions without number, the dreams of Olaf Asterson, as he lay in the bonds of slumber. The sleep of Olaf Asterson was long, so long and fearful,
For this next piece, we're going down under. It's a song from Australia that everybody in the world has heard somewhere along the line, Waltzing Matilda. And this is one of those songs that just kind of has a life of its own. It exists everywhere.
Oh my goodness. I have to put my glasses on because I have to refer to some of the words. Now, Waltzing Matilda is considered the second national anthem of Australia. It has travel slang, and Waltzing Matilda, the waltzing refers to your walking along, and the Matilda is when you put your bag over your shoulder, and that's what Waltzing Matilda has nothing to do with a lady. And this guy, this gentleman, a swag man, is a man that usually tramps along. He stops by a billabong, which is a water hole that is in a dried up riverbed. And he captures a sheep, and that's bad because the sheep doesn't belong to him. And the sheep farmer comes with policemen to get the sheep away from this swag man. And the word for sheep is jumbuck. Jumbuck. Okay, so the swag man decides you're not going to catch me, and what he does is he jumps into the water hole and he drowns himself, and you'll never catch me alive. And the ghosts sing about the jolly swag man, and that's Waltzing Matilda.
And the fact that it was written as a waltz helps matters there. I'm sure.
Right.
But I mean, people have been singing, even in elementary school, have learned that refrain over the years.
Yeah, Waltzing Matilda, Waltzing Matilda, right.
So on and so forth.
And this will be conducted by one of our assistant conductors, Gillian Griffin.
And now, Waltzing Matilda.
Sang as he watched and waited till his giddy boy, you'll come
The next piece is from Scotland. It's called Will You No Come Back Again? And this is something that celebrates a different rebellion from that area of the world.
Oh gosh, this is one of Scotland's favorite songs that commemorates, I've got to check here, Charles Edward Stuart, better known as Bonnie Prince Charles, who led the second Jacobite revolution to bring the Stuarts back to the English and Scottish throne. And he fought in all battles and fought in the Battle of Culloden. And he finally made his escape to France, not having achieved what he wanted.
Yeah, that was kind of like the end of
Yes.
any success he would have had at trying to get back into the throne of,
right.
of England and Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
And now, Will You No Come Back Again?
Thank you.
next piece is actually kind of a 3-in-1. It's from the United States, and it's 3 madrigals, and the composer is somebody who his name seems very familiar to me.
He is a bass who has sung in our choir for 9 years. He graduated from Bridgewater State University, that's where I taught for many, many years, with a major in music, and he sang in their choral groups, and he began composing. And one of these songs he started composing when he was a student, but it was never finished. He has composed during the time he graduated and the present day 2 or 3 things that we have sung of his, and they're always well composed, well put together, plus other groups have sung his things. So right now he's sitting in the first row in chorale, and when we're practicing these 3 madrigals with very well-known poems, I always ask, okay, Ian, what would you like? Do you want this louder? Do you want this? So it's nice having the composer. This is the only set of songs that aren't folk songs because he composed them. But he comes from the United States and he's one of us, so that's it.
And they are poems that came from the time when madrigals were
Oh,
very
yes,
popular.
yes.
So the words are old, but the music is new.
That's correct, that's correct. But it follows a pattern, you know.
And now, 3 madrigals composed by Ian Hudson.
Brightest eyes are in with
The next section of the concert is sung by the Jubilate Chorale Chamber Ensemble, and first we're visiting Canada, and they're doing 2 songs from a set of 6 that are old Canadian songs.
Yes, early Canada. And the first one is a rather amusing one because a gentleman has returned from his travels and he goes to see the young lady he had been dating for a long time. And he says to her, well, please come sit down next to me. Let's renew our pledge to each other, et cetera, et cetera. And she looks at him and she says, I'm not going to sit down beside you because I know when you were traveling, you had other girls beside me. And he said, oh, but please do sit down. You know that young men go off and do their wandering, et cetera, et cetera. And she says, yup, and I believed you. I believed every word you said. And I'm not going to do that again. And then she starts to tell, well, I have a favorite. I have William, a James, but my favorite is Patty. You know, and he's just sitting there. So it just shows that young men are not the only ones that do the wandering in their youth.
This almost sounds like something that's been pulled out of recent headlines.
Oh, right, correct, yes.
And the second song?
The second song is so different. It's called Inoria, and it is a Mohawk song that comes from a Huron village. And the words are Inoria, Kwe Tanone. They're just nonsense words, and they're sung by the Indians after a celebration, and they get themselves all excited, and they just dance all night long. And this does sound very Indian.
It does have a rhythm to it that is.
It has a rhythm, it has a drum that provides a backbeat, and the piano just goes boom, 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 boom. Yes.
And now, the 2 songs from the set of 6 from Canada.
For
next stop on our musical journey is the Ukraine. And this is a song entitled, My Son, a Wife You Seek. And the Russians are at it again. What do they get this
Oh,
time?
the Ukraine, definitely. This has a little humor in it as well. It's about parents who are telling their son about the girl he should marry. Now, be sure to marry someone who's warm and who does all these things for you, and be very aware of marrying a girl who you see just at night, because she may, be there for the night and the next morning she's gone. You've got to marry someone with a warm heart, not someone with cold passion that doesn't hug you and take care of you.
Boy, that sounds like great advice, but it doesn't usually happen that way.
Right.
And now, When My Son, a Wife You Seek. Next, we have some songs from South Africa. And instead of trying to pronounce them, I think I'm going to let you do it, Max.
Okay.
Just because I'll never get it right.
The first one is the title is Abiyoyo. Now, supposedly, a young child goes to sleep with his parents, etc., after they have told him a story which involves a monster. Now, this monster bothers the young child in his mind, so he starts singing, Abiyoyo, Abiyoyo, and eventually he sings himself to sleep. There is another version of this song done by Pete Seeger, and Pete Seeger says, okay, the name of the monster is Abiyoyo, and when the young child starts to sing Abiyoyo, the monster is so enchanted by hearing his name sung, because he never hears it, that he starts just dancing around, and the parents very easily can get rid of him that way. So, and the second one is Hey Matswala, Hey Matswala. This is a delightful custom done in South Africa. When a young couple declare that they're going to get married, the bride and the groom each form 2 choruses. And they spend the days leading up to the ceremony serenading each other. And the night before the wedding, the groom's chorus, of course this is all known by everybody, but the 2 choruses pretend they don't know this. The groom's chorus comes to the bride's home, knocks on the door, and they are given a room to stay for the night. and they get themselves all ready, and they go to the bride's, I guess, group of rooms, whatever, and they want to knock on the door. But instead of knocking on the door, they start singing. So the bride knows that the groom's chorus is here. This song, Hey Matswala, takes place after the ceremony. And they're both the bride's chorus and the groom's chorus are both singing again. So I have put this in, you know, the men are singing and then the women are singing. And then there's a verse where, you know, my mother went to Pretoria to sign the license and my father wants to give me away. I think he's waiting for the dowry. And the last verse is, you know, time's come, I gotta go. Maybe I shouldn't have hurried so. Hey Matswala, which means nothing, you know, just a happy sound.
And now, Abiyoyo and Hey Matswala from South Africa. The next stop on our musical journey is Czechoslovakia, which is now the Czech Republic and Slovakia, and the name of the song is Waters Ripple and Flow.
This is a very popular song, very well known. Not much is known about the origination of the song, but what I find most interesting is that, you have the text in Czech, the language, and then you have a translation in English. And beginning the piece is a solo by a young lady, and the ladies all tried out, and the person who got the solo, she's married to someone of Czech descent. And in fact, her mother-in-law sings this song. She knows it. So she comes up to me and she says, "Do you think I could sing this in the original language?" And I said, "I think that would be fantastic." So when she starts to sing, it is in the original language. She asked initially, a long time ago, whether we were going to do it in the original language. And I thought, I don't think we have the time to learn this language because we have never encountered it. It would be very difficult. So I just wanted to let you know that. And then it continues each time it's presented a little differently. And second time it's presented after the young lady, Sarah, it's sung with a gentleman soloist, Davis is his name, with the choir accompaniment. And then it goes on and on. Yes, it's a very lovely melody.
We are becoming a multilingual chorus.
Yes, yeah.
Spanish with the last
Right,
time,
right.
now Czech. And now from Czechoslovakia, Waters Ripple and Flow. as an end to our journey around the world, we come back home again to the United States with a song that was extremely popular back in the 1950s, The Yellow Rose of Texas. And boy, do I remember Mitch Miller's group singing this song back
Oh my
then.
gosh, yes, yes. There is an old legend about how this whole song got started. There is no historical background saying it's true, but everybody buys into it. So there was this young, free African-American young lady living in Connecticut, and she met a gentleman from Texas, Captain Morgan, and he hired her for a year to be his housekeeper. So she goes down to Texas and she's doing very well. And then all of a sudden, Captain Morgan's house is attacked by Santa Anna. Yeah, and he captures this young girl, this Emily, and he takes her with him. Well, evidently, and nobody knows about this or can't prove anything, she is a spy for the United States. And supposedly keeps Santa Anna occupied while other forces attack him. You know, and that's it. She is the Yellow Rose of Texas. Oh, when this song begins, it begins slowly. And it stays in the slow tempo for quite some time. And then all of a sudden it gets faster and it finally gets to the tempo that we all know.
And now, before I introduce this song, I just want to thank you all for watching this concert this year, and we hope we'll see you again at a future concert. And now, the Yellow Rose of Texas.
And thank you for having me on this program.
You're always a delight, Max.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoy it.
Rio and its